Jack, after years starring in tribute on Broadway, now it was said that for a lot of people, tribute will be an emotional banquet. Why do you think that's true?
Well, because it touches people, I think. I have never been in anything that has reached people the way this does and touched them. Now, I say that because in a movie you don't know. I mean, you know if a picture's a hit and that it touches people, but having done it on the stage, I know what happens. Every single performance, it just touches on themes that are very dear to people, and it works. There's a tremendous emotional experience for them.
There's a father-son conflict in this film with Robbie Benson that perhaps a lot of families have to deal with. Except that the character you play, Scotty Templeton, is fun-loving and loved by all, except I get the feeling that you're not at all sure of yourself. Inside, there's a real conflict going on.
You betcha. Sure, he's got a lot of fear of failure, of his own self-inadequacy going on, which is why he's never been able to really make any commitment to anybody or anything, you know. He was a rotten father, a rotten husband, walked out on the kid, never really established any kind of loving relationship with him. He kept postponing it, saying, well, next year maybe we'll get together. And he hardly ever saw him after he was divorced.
Except that this son, Judd, played by Robbie Benson, you get the feeling all through it that he loves you very much, but he has a feeling that I think most teenagers have for their parents. He's kind of embarrassed by the behavior of his father, embarrassed by his popularity, doesn't know how to handle it.
That's right. And a feeling of inadequacy. I think a great deal of bitterness there because of his, he blames his father for the divorce and for the fact that he grew up with no father because Scotty never paid enough attention to him, divorce or not. You know, there's a lot of conflicting emotions in the boy.
Yeah, you had those kind of with your own father, didn't you, Jack?
Well, I was very close, but I didn't realize until I was really well grown up and established in my business that I had been spending most of my life in awe of him and trying to prove myself to him. And then I suddenly realized, I know why I'm enjoying my time with him more. I'm relaxed more, and we seem to be closer. It's because I don't have to prove myself anymore. I can just be myself.
And he accepted that?
Oh, yeah. He never meant to have me have that attitude. That was me. You know, I was just in awe of him.
You took him to Europe, didn't you, for a month?
Yeah, we had a long trip, just the two of us, thank God, before he got ill. And just the two of us, and we bumped through Europe for a couple of months. And that's an experience, I think, that's very rare, you know, that at any age that a son can have with a father.
I'm sure you're glad you had it.
Oh, yeah, because shortly after that he got terminally ill.
This morning I heard you tell a story on the Today Show. And for those of you who don't know, Jack he was educated in Boston. Are you from Boston, Jack?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Newton. Oh. And then when I was about 13, we moved into the corner of Beacon and Exeter.
Okay, and educated at Phillips and Andover and at Harvard. But you tell a story about your mother. You told one this morning. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, which one did I tell?
About the Ritz-Carlton Hotel.
Oh, the Ritz. Oh, yeah. I finally convinced her. I said, Millie, you're not 25 anymore. You're about 60-something. She said, I'm not telling you. She never would. But anyway, I said, you don't have a will. You keep talking about you want to leave this furniture to this friend and that and this and that and so forth. You got to make a will. She says, all right. So she goes to make a will. And then the next thing I know, she is corresponding with the Ritz in Boston. Furious at them. 3 letters back and forth. Furious at them because they will not let her be cremated and her ashes placed in an urn and put on the corner of the bar with $500 in the till, and all her pals can come in the afternoon where she used to hang out and have a drink on her and a toast to Millie. Here's to you, Millie, we miss you. And then when the $500 was over, they were on their own. And she could not understand why they wouldn't let her keep her ashes on the corner of the bar. She was so pissed.
Well, your mother and father, do they encourage this? I mean, at this point, you have such split-second timing whenever you do comedy, and you make us feel the comedy and the drama at the same time, as Bernie Slade has said about you, Bernie being the author of Tribute. But did they encourage this in any way when you were growing up?
Yes, in a sense that, well, my mother loved it. When knowing that I wanted to be an actor thrilled her. Because, as you can gather, she was a wild nut there, Tallulah Bankhead's Road Company. And anything theatrical or anything to do with the theater she thought was just great. The whole glamour, I think, is what appealed to her about it. And because she always loved, once I must say, she got such a boot when she moved to California because she got to meet movie stars and directors and everything. Wow!
Did you
she
move
went
her there?
bananas. Yeah.
You did?
And my dad, they had been separated since I was 18, but my dad also moved out there, and we all had a ball out there, but at least both of them got to enjoy it. Thank heaven. She encouraged it. My father certainly didn't discourage me, but he was scared to death.
He was?
Yeah, he thought, what? I got him in Andover. I got him through Harvard, and he wants to be an actor?
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's historical, though, a lot of...
Because it's, you know, it's a high-risk profession.
Sure.
I was awful lucky. And he was really worried that it might not work out at all.
You know, this month there was something so special on CBS. Sears sponsored it, and it was a tribute to Jack Lemmon, to your music.
Yeah.
I wonder if most people know that you are, in fact, within tribute, there's a song that you've written.
Yeah, yeah.
You really are proud of that, aren't you, Jack?
Well, it's been a source of what amazes me. Is all of a sudden now I'm getting people, the lyric writers, who want me to work with them and everything. I'm flabbergasted. That show is what really did it, because they played about 4 or 5 things that I'd written. And I had no idea, of course, it was going to happen. It was a surprise. The greatest was when Chris played a song I wrote for Fire Down Below, a theme, and I didn't know he was going to do it. It was his arrangement that he made for Nelson Riddle, and he played the piano.
And Leslie Uggams.
Boy, if there'd ever been a rift, it was over then.
Oh, yeah.
And Leslie sang one, yeah. She sang the one that I wrote for tribute. I mean, it's just parts of the melody are played through it, but it is...
So the creativity comes out of you in many ways, then?
Yeah, I found it to be a great release for me, you know, a source of enjoyment. Yeah, the music. It's I never concentrated on it as being a composer. It was always secondary to acting. But I can sit at the piano for 2 hours, and I think it's 5 minutes. You know, it's like someone else can write poetry or paint or whatever. It's a release. Yeah.
How about, you also are a smart businessman, because at least I
am?
heard, well, I'm not sure, you have to tell me, but you and Walter Matthau are great pals, aren't you, and Billy Wilder, the three of you, and in fact you
We're going to do a picture, buddy, buddy.
Buddy, buddy, and boy, does that fit, because the three of you, I can just see this. But didn't you start, when you did Koch with Matthau, wasn't that your production company?
Yes.
So you're a businessman as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you have a company. Most actors, or the quote movie stars, unquote, have a company. Not just for tax reasons or for economic reasons, but because if you can become a partner, that too, of course. But if you can become a partner in the production, then it gives you have more of a voice in the creative end of it and in the final product. So that if there's gonna be mistakes, then you can fall on your own fanny, you know, to an extent, and you won't have to say, why did the studio do that? Why did they put this scene there?
Well, that
Why
must
did they
feel
cut?
good,
You know,
though.
etc. And it's also exciting.
Yes.
I enjoy that end of it. I hate the business end, but editing and a film especially, my God, that's fascinating.
Again, the creative end. And another someone that you must be close to is Neil Simon, because of
sure.
All the work that you've done for him and the out-of-towners and all of that. But you and Lee Remick have not been together since Days of Wine and Roses.
Not till tribute, yeah. It's just funny, we never found the right script where both of us were free, you know, over those years.
More time scheduled than anything else?
Yeah, most
Do
of
you
it.
find, having done that picture, what was it, 15 years ago that you did?
I think it was 18.
18?
Yeah.
How have the two of you changed? I bet it was fascinating to see how...
You know something? As far as we are concerned, anyway, it was like we just had taken the weekend off and we were right back shooting again.
Amazing.
You know, it was just a continuous thing.
Because there was a
She's
building
terrific.
camaraderie?
Yeah, yeah.
She's such a professional,
Oh,
as are
yeah.
you, such a professional. I mean, you are, but you are known as a gracious man, do you know? I also know something about you, you love the links.
Oh, the human hinge.
The human
Give me a
hinge.
golf club and I'm off.
Is that your greatest form of relaxation?
Yeah, yes it is. Well, the music, playing the piano and so forth, but yes, that, and I love to fish too. I go with Chris for a couple of weeks in Alaska every year. But golf, oh boy, oh boy.
But you know, you can
just
talk
love
about
it.
My Sister Eileen, and Apartment, and Some Like It Hot, and I mean, all the hundreds of films that you've done that have all been classics and terrific. But I don't know whether people know you better for that, or for seeing you on the Crosby
On the
every year.
Crosby. That's my fantasy, to win the Crosby, which
Is it?
I'm never going to do. Oh, forget your Oscars, anything. It's just if I could win the Crosby. Oh, God.
What do you shoot? How
I'm
good
a
a golfer?
15 now, love,
Oh,
because
that's
I was
good.
down to an 11 once. What happens is that when the cameras come up, you'd think I'd never seen one in my life. I get petrified.
Do you?
Yeah, because it's not really my bag. And you know, all you need in golf, as you know, is just to be a little bit nervous, and you're not going to hit the ball well.
You're finished.
You know, and you'll top it and cut it and slice it and everything else.
Key is relaxation.
And I'm fine. I sometimes play the best golf of my life in the Prose until the camera day, and then right
Isn't,
down
boy, isn't
the
that amazing?
drain.
Because people would think that the cameras go on and you'd be on.
Yeah, I know. It's just the opposite.
In Tribute, Jack, which doesn't open, this is Monday, and it doesn't open until January.
Yeah.
So it's a while between now and the opening in Boston and all around the country. But what do you think that people will learn from this film?
Well, very simply, I think that they will learn that it's a two-way street when they're not communicating with each other, and that they shouldn't give up. And the reason I know that that's what they get out of it is that when I was doing the show, the play, for those many, many months, in 5 different cities, I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of letters from fathers and sons who had seen the play, always more or less the same, you know, that we were entertained and we were deeply moved, but also enlightened. And I'm going to give it another shot.
You mean, do you
Meaning
think...
they obviously had given up trying to get together and communicate, but now they were going to try again.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of people that say that your son might leave you for a few years, but ultimately, if you've taught him correctly, he'll come back, or your daughter.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that there's maybe a way to communicate all during that growing up period
Sure
of time.
you can, yeah.
You just take the time.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, it's a delight to meet you.